Hello, my name is Coco. I'm a health and wellness coach, and I'm hailing from a cool, but it looked to be a rather pleasant day today. A cool, still just before 8 o'clock in the morning here in Auckland, New Zealand. I'd like to take a moment to remind people to be calm, to be well, and to be healthy. So, this is my second morning here at the Ridges Hotel, and I think I have another 4 more mornings of isolation before I'm released into the wilderness, so to speak. Yesterday I started speaking about nutrition, and I'm going to continue. I actually had to formally request for the elimination of excess sugar. Not so much in the mains and the like, because it would be too much trouble for them to eliminate sugar. The general rule of thumb here in New Zealand is add sugar so that it tastes better, and also to get people addicted to the food. As I stated yesterday, that if one requires sugar in a product, the cook's not very good. That's what I'm going to state today, if I didn't quite make that statement yesterday. So I was looking forward to muesli today again. However, I have been given, and I will you, typical standard Kiwi fare. So I've got hash browns there. I've got a couple of white bread rolls, obviously baked beans, bacon and eggs. Not really my favorite, but beggars can't be choosers, so to speak. And this is fruit salad. Now, unwittingly, what I discovered yesterday is that the fruit salad is probably the tin variety or whatever it is, but they've actually added sugar in the syrup. Just like butter chicken was lunch yesterday, and as soon as I took a mouthful, I could taste the sugar. So sugar is why New Zealand is the second most obese country in the world. Now, another thing I wanted to raise today is orange juice. These bottled varieties. Now, this one says honest squeezed orange juice, and when I checked the food label, it also says squeezed orange juice. Now, I've never actually seen an orange juice label. I always check the labels for everything. I actually want to know what it is that I'm consuming. So normally the shelf varieties of orange juice are reconstituted juice. So that basically means that the juice is heated to eliminate bacteria. Unfortunately, what it also eliminates is the vitamin C content of the juice. So there are three ingredients that it says on this particular label. It says squeezed orange juice, so that is the first ingredient. So that means that forms the primary content of this juice. That's actually a good thing. But then, interestingly, what it does also state is citric acid and vitamin C. So they've included that in this juice. Now, vitamin C is is what orange juice produces naturally. Citric acid is just another form of vitamin C. So the fact that they've listed both of those and they've put those into this juice begs the question that if there's already citric acid and vitamin C in orange juice, why do they need to add more? Now, it does say no concentrate, no added sugar, and no preservatives. Vitamin C and citric acid are natural preservatives. Why you need to add more vitamin C into something a product that is already vitamin C is the only thing I can think of is because they're using it as a preservative. Well, the citric acid anyway. Vitamin C, I find that quite interesting. The only reason why I can think that it would be added is purely because the oranges weren't ripe, and so therefore one doesn't get the full vitamin C content. But also it's something that I would expect from reconstituted juice, because as I stated before, that the juice is heated up and you lose both the bacteria and the vitamin C content. So always check your labels. So anything on the shelf is guaranteed to be reconstituted juice, and therefore you're just basically drinking cordial. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I had a choice between reconstituted juice and cordial, I'd drink the juice if I only had those two options. The other thing you need to look out for is if they've added sugar, and I'm talking about sucrose. So I did check the label, and it did say that there was 30 grams of carbohydrates, so fructose. And then it says sugars, which is 28.2%. See, it says no added sugar, but because they've stated that there is 30 grams of carbohydrates but only 28.2 sugars, I'm not sure where the other 1.8 grams of carbohydrates has gone. So what I had jumped to the conclusion of is that it's 1.8%, 1.8 grams is the actual fructose, and the 28.2 would be sucrose, but they're saying no added sugar. I actually know what freshly squeezed orange juice tastes like. This doesn't taste like freshly squeezed orange juice. It's an artificial sweet. So I'm not sure if stevia or something like that. Normally you'd have to list if it's got stevia or something like that on the label. But I find it rather dubious that it is not sucrose. Yeah, just in light of the fact that if it had been 30 grams of carbohydrates and sugars was 30 grams, then I would have just gone, oh, yeah, fructose, not a problem. Now, the other thing I wanted to actually raise today is the yogurt. Now, I'm going to get an empty container. So Fresh and Fruity is the one that we're being served. Yoplait, all those commercial brands that are in the supermarkets. Now, as I discovered, these are 170 grams of, this container is 170 grams. And although, hang on. Yeah, this one here has, okay, so this one here says there's 13.7 grams of carbohydrates, which is broken down into 7.8 grams of sucrose, so that's almost 2 teaspoons, and 3.5 grams of lactose, which comes from the milk, obviously. And they listed galactose, which is what you will find in foods such as honey, paprika, celery, basil, and there's a few others as well. So they're the good sugars. Sucrose is your processed white sugar. Not so good. So all in all, there's just under 2 teaspoons of sugar in this particular pack. Now, what I did notice is, oh, that's what it was, that label. Now with 40% less sugar. Yeah, so 40% less sugar. And I went on the internet yesterday and it says 40% less sugar than the traditional yogurts that are out on the market. Now, they didn't give me a definitive description of what that actually entailed for the other products, I guess, because that would come down to defamation. Now, what I did look at is Yoplait, again, like I said, another commercial brand. They have, I think it's 5, just a tad bit over 5 teaspoons of sugar for their little packs. So, yeah, that would make sense. It's actually a little bit less. If the standard one of these tubs has 40%, yeah, that would make sense. This is just under 2, and your standard Yoplait packs are putting just over 5. So, yeah, okay. we'll pay them that one. But at the end of the day, 2 teaspoons, just under 2 teaspoons of sugar in this little pack, and this little is that's a lot of sugar for just one of these. And this is what we're feeding our kids. Well, I actually stopped feeding my kids that stuff a long time ago. So just to be mindful of what it is that you're actually buying, and learning to read food labels and making comparisons. That's what I do. So I'm not a complete prude. So when I'm buying things such as coconut cream as opposed to milk, I always go for the cans that have the most cream in it, because I want coconutty cream, because I don't have one of those awesome thermomixers that can blend the coconuts so finely that to produce coconut milk, and I don't know how the islanders do it either. So when I'm buying it, I do buy the fattest coconut cream that I can possibly buy. Now my breakfast, which is getting cold, which is actually probably cold, what can I say? Typical New Zealand standard fare. It's not the food that I would normally eat. Not a fan, but I'll see how I go. I'll eat some of it. Hopefully lunch is better. That's why I haven't minded taking my time making this video. But anyway, I know how to soldier on through things, because as you know, that if I don't have it here, I don't have it anywhere. Cheers.